It's Dynamite. It's Kenny Omega's birthday. And we got a lot of stuff to go over here, so let's have the pitter pat. Let's just get at her, folks. On today's show, Adam Cole's back, calls out MJF. Sheldon Benji has his first match on Dynamite, and things occur. Hangman Page cost Jay White. Well, this is coming out of nowhere. Boy, that was funny. Don Callis. Is he the new Bobby the Brain Heenan and his family? Interesting. Mariah May. She seems very upset that nobody actually is competition for her. But she has new competition now. Maybe. The Elite want no part of the BCC. But we start today with the BCC and Jon Moxley and the rest of the crew. So, Dynamite starts off with Jon Moxley, Marina Shafir, as well as the newly turned Wheeler Yuta in the back of a Dodge Ram. I'm assuming Claudio and Pac were in the driver's seats. And Mox's Park is starting off basically saying how if you now work for me, if you are part of AEW and you are with AEW, you are at war. Interesting. So, they have doing all this. They talk about it in the vehicle. John ends up saying, I'm now in control of everything. Basically, like I said, everybody works for him. That's his impression. This is becoming very, very interesting. Very similar to a few things that have happened over time in different wrestling promotions. But it's a little more fun, I think, because we haven't seen it in a while, I think. That's probably why. So, later on in the night, we'll get to the Elite shortly, too, because this guy involves the Elite. Elite are having a match with the BCC, with the conglomerate. Catwing Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and the newly added to the member of the group, Rocky Romero. Now, I say they don't want anything to do with them, but that's because BCC ended up attacking everybody in that match, not named Young Bucks or Okada. They beat the hell out of every single person in there. The point where Top Flight came in, along with Action Andretti. The Dark Order came in. Basically hanged one of the Dark Order members and they beat him up a little bit. And in that statement there, while it was going on there, Jon Moxley said, if you are part of the Elite, make no doubt about it, you are at war. They beat the living tar out of him. Marina Shafir is like, I like her in this role. She's like a nut bar. She's an absolute nut bar. She was choking one of the members of Dark Order against the post with his belt, and she was smiling and just enjoying it like she's the most happiest person in the world choking somebody out. It's great. Love it. Big fan of it. Should do it more often. So they beat the living hell out of them. Later on in the night, too, they cut back to the back of the camera room, and they're beating the hell out of them again. Right? The Dark Order, same people, Action Andretti, Top Flight. They get back in the back of their Dodge Ram. They drive off. Dark Order makes a statement saying, we will not be run top by you, taking food off our tables. We will fight you. No matter the parking lot, ring, backstage, don't matter. Top Flight, along with Action Andretti, said you better hold on to your titles tightly because we're at collision. We are going to take them away from you. That's not going to happen, but But it's really interesting how this is going here. During the segment, though, too, they mentioned Darby Allin has not been heard from since the whole thing with Bryan Danielson. And they specifically also targeted Orange Cassidy in this match as well. So that's it. Now, the reason I bring up Darby Allin and the beatings and all stuff, it's almost very eerily similar to the beginnings of the Sting. So if we over Sting left, and he came down the rafters in WCW, all that stuff. It's very eerily similar to this. Like, it's almost like they're gonna make. It's almost like this is gonna end with Darby Allin becoming the AEW World Champion. That's a possibility. Right now, the way it's going, like, it's almost like they're gonna start doing the whole Darby Allin, but but doing it like Sting, back in the WCW days, when he developed the whole, started doing the whole Crow gimmick, which is by far, like, my books, like, probably the best one. Like, I was never a big fan of Sting's Beach Bum era, or like, I like the stuff, like later stuff, but like the whole WCW Sting stuff, like the stuff with the Crow, because the Crow, when that came, was very, very popular. It was a cult classic. It's an excellent movie. I can't say the rest of them, but can't say the same for the rest of them. I mean, City of Angels is okay. The rest of it, for the most part, were anyway. Who knows? Looks like this is going to end this way here. When I say the Elite now, I know I would jump the gun here. I didn't say we're going to talk about the Elite almost like last, but since I was on the topic anyway, the Elite were in this match with them. It was a good match, but the Elite were scared of these guys. Like, they backed off. Like, they noticed that the BCC was not attacking the Elite, and the Elite guys stepped away. And when people questioned him on it, they're like, "Not our problem. Forget about it. Not a thing." So we'll see what goes on here with the Elite. Obviously, there's more to come about this. They did bring up a match between the Elite, which is Okada, which was Okada and the Young Bucks versus what's it called? Private Party, as well as Daniel Garcia for next week. Or yeah, next week on Dynamite. So we'll see what goes on there. The Elite also did have a segment before that, though. I said, we wish to have Kenny Omega a happy birthday. They wish to have Kenny Omega a happy birthday. But Jack Perry, they had a cake for him. A nice black cake that said, "Happy birthday, Kenny," in red. And then Jack Perry decided to pour on a whole bucket worth of, cow intestines, tongues, heart, stuff like that. Now, if you have a weak stomach, I suggest you don't go watch this part. I don't. I've dealt with that stuff my entire career in the restaurant industry, and being a chef and all that stuff. So, yeah, maybe that's what they did. And Jack Perry said, "Kenny, I hope you get better, but if not, I hope you'd also die too." Look, when Kenny comes back, it's probably gonna be Jack Perry versus him. They might have Kenny even take that TNT title, because that's like the one belt I think Kenny's never held in AEW yet. So, I mean, why not? Right? Anyway, the happier news, kind of. Adam Cole was back, baby. Adam Cole comes on out, and he goes, nobody really wants to hear about what's been going on with me the past year. I just think it's boring. They're very happy to talk about, because it was story time with Adam Cole, MJF. Now, he talks about MJF. He talks about how MJF will tell you how he was the victim here and all these things, that he was the one that was betrayed by Adam Cole. But Adam tells you that that's not true. The MJF you see is the real MJF. He's not, he's a fake individual, right? He is exactly the same way behind closed doors than he was in front of everybody else. He's a fake individual. He's scared. He's like a scared little 5-year-old boy. He wants everybody to like him, but nobody wants to like him because he's, a dink. Dink's a nice word to put. So MJF eventually comes on a thing after Adam Cole says, "I'm going to find you, wants you to calls him out to the ring, have a fight." MJF obviously just comes doesn't come on Teletron. He tells him that, yeah, I am this way because I've been betrayed so many times. I don't trust anybody. You're right. You can't be trust anybody in this world, right? Especially in the wrestling business. Right? It says there's a void in Adam MJF because of Adam Cole, because of what he did, because he let Adam Cole in. And MJF says that he will never ever get in that ring with Adam Cole. Yeah, that's your punishment. Adam Cole said that doesn't matter whether you run, you can't hide. I will get my hands on you and I will beat the hell out of you. So, Full Gear's around the corner. This may happen at Full Gear. Wait and see and find out, but it may happen at Full Gear. Full Gear, folks. It is the next paper, the PLE or pay-per-view, however you want to call it, for AEW. So we'll see what goes on there with that. And also we'll see what goes on too. If you like the content here, folks, if you're liking us, hearing us on Podbean, on Spotify, watching us on YouTube, watch this ugly mug on YouTube, click the subscribe button. Probably around here, or here, or here. Give it a click. Small click for you, big click for us. We appreciate everything you guys all for us do. That's why we keep on doing this no matter what. Anyway, because it's also a lot of fun. Anyway, back to the show. I have a nice promotion. Shelton Benjamin had his debut match on AEW Dynamite against Lio Rush. This is kind of interesting. Now, MVP came out early night. MVP is trying to recruit as much people as possible and talk to as much people as possible. He talked to the Acclaim earlier. Don't let the crap. You should come see him. We'll see what goes on with that. Anyway, Shelton Benjamin had a match with Lio Rush. Very good match. Really showed off Shelton Benjamin. It made it very known, too, that once Shelton Benjamin did win his debut match against Lio Rush. That's not really the talking point here. I mean, it's kind of obvious what's going to happen. Right? Lio Rush tried to get some maneuvers, try to do some really sneaky stuff that he always does. But the man of the hour, Lio Rush, got beat by Shelton Benjamin. MVP gave him his card, told him he should come see him. Tensions turned to Swerve. They still have on that conversation with Swerve and have a chat. Swerve responded very quickly. On the show in a backstage segment, saying that how he's expected Shelton Benjamin to win. It wasn't a surprise by any means. That he would love to have another conversation or meeting with Shelton Benjamin. And folks, we're getting that. In 2 weeks' time, Devil's Night, October 30th, Fright Night Dynamite. Shelton Benjamin versus Swerve Strickland. In my opinion, possibly the debut of Bobby Lashley. Makes a lot of sense. Bobby Lashley, I think, will be showing up possibly. I think Bobby Lashley will show up at Friday Night Dynamite. I think he's going to cost Swerve, or at least do something in that match, or stop the match by DQ for Swerve or whatever. And probably hurt Swerve an awful lot. It's kind of funny how this is all going on. But even Lio Rush there, too. I mean, Lio Rush was at one point in tune with Bobby Lashley when Bobby Lashley first came back to the WWE years ago. Shelton Benjamin obviously had a match with Swerve, I believe, in NXT. All are connected here, folks. It's quite interesting. But I think the debut of Bobby Lashley is coming at Friday Night Dynamite. And we'll see what his reaction is and how this goes off. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be one of the very big moves for AEW. Because we all do know from what we have understood too, is that Bobby Lashley has signed with AEW. It is inevitable that he will show. I have to wait and find out next week. Now, Hangman Page is one comedic fella. At least it was tonight. Main event match Dynamite this tonight was Christian Cage versus Jay White. Really good match, actually. Guys, I didn't know what to really expect from this, but it was a really good match. A lot of great points there with Christian Cage. Right, one point, Jay White put his basically put a mask uh Christian Cage, put a shirt on top of his face, and just smacked the hell out of his chest. Great, good times. Jay was having a good time there. At one point, Jay was in the corner there, and Kip Sabian shows up on one end, and kind of Jay White kind of sees him, but Kip Sabian was kind of pissing off Christian Cage recently. But in the back, I guess Hangman rolled out from underneath the ring, popped up, right, and then turned to realize the referee's turned around and he popped back down again to hide because he didn't get caught. Eventually, this distraction for the referee happens from Christian Cage's side there, right? Jay White's about to hit the Blade Runner. All of a sudden, Hangman pops up and hits him with the buckshot lariat. Christian Cage just the 1, 2, 3. And Hangman rolls out, and you see him lying on the ground like this. Fantastic. All right, looking forward to it. And obviously, Jay White knew what happened here. Jay White, at one point, as Christian's leaving, he's looking out and he's just laughing and smiling. Goes like, okay, you know what's going to happen now. So Jay White versus Hangman Page was coming, probably at Full Gear, more than likely too. So they're going to basically kind of build this Full Gear card up. I don't quote me on the Kenny Omega stuff though, because I have no idea if Kenny will be coming back. He obviously had like a fair amount of intestine removed, so that's don't quote me on that one. Anyway, is Don Callis the new Bobby Heenan? The Don Callis family, eerily similar to the Bobby Heenan family, which is probably what it's based off. So Don Callis has new members. 2, to be in fact. He has, we saw 2 weeks ago, the trade for Lance Archer. Right? He traded Rush, the Beastico, and the Beast Mortis to Jake Roberts. We haven't really seen since. For Lance Archer. Kind of like a one-sided trade, but Lance Archer's there, and all of a sudden coming out with Don Callis tonight too is also the new ROH TV champion, Brian Cage. He's right beside him. Don Callis announced that Brian Cage, as well as Lance Archer, will be going for the tag team titles at some point. That should be interesting. It's a big team. Really big. Like really, really big. So, it brings out Takeshita, as well as Kyle Fletcher. Now, no Will Ospreay tonight at all. Takeshita's face says, I will challenge anybody, anywhere, anytime, anyways. They all say that. We'll see what happens. Which, by the way, Ricochet had an interview at one point in the night too, and said, well, Ospreay never pinned me. I mean, I never got pinned by Takeshita at all. So he basically challenged Takeshita for that international title. We'll see what happens with that. Kyle Fletcher, though. Nobody who goes, why, Kyle, why, was his first statement. Why? But nobody wants to know why. They all want to talk about Kyle. They all want to talk about Will Ospreay, which pissed off Kyle Fletcher. Rightfully so. I mean, he hit the guy with the screwdriver, you know, and then Tiger Driver 91'd him. And he wants to know why nobody wants to talk about Kyle Fletcher. Come on. Will Ospreay. He's way bigger star than you. But Kyle Fletcher says he's not going to mention it or tell anybody why. I'm sure eventually it'll come out. Always does. And we'll see what happens there. But Don Callis has really built a nice big family here. You know, at one point he had Andre the Giant, Haku, the Barbarian. You know, he had a pretty big sized family at one point. Well, Bobby Heenan when he was in WWE. God rest his soul. So, is Don Callis the new Bobby Heenan? More than likely. If you think he's not, or you think he is, comment down below. I want to hear about it. I want to hear what you guys think about this too. Anyway, Mariah May. Gosh, she looks pretty. I'm a big fan of Mariah May. I like every segment with her. She's a little upset though that nobody's talking about her, considering the fact she beat the piss out of Willow. Yeah, Willow still is on the cover of a magazine. Britt Baker apparently can't show because she has strep throat. She's complaining about everything. I love it. Then she's complaining too that Mina still is in Japan. She can't have a celebration yet. So that still hasn't happened yet. That was going to happen like 3 weeks ago. But she doesn't have a challenger. She thinks, nobody wants to come here and challenge her. It's supposed to be where the big girls play, but nobody does. Well, Anna Jay showed up. It's great. We haven't seen Anna Jay for a while, really, especially on Dynamite. So she's basically his challenge for the most part, Mariah May. We'll see how this occurs here. Anna Jay versus Mariah May. I look forward to that. Hopefully it's a good showing from. I mean, Anna Jay's not going to win. Let's be honest. Who are we kidding here? All right, that belt will probably go. Mariah May will probably lose that belt to either Mina or returning to Toni Storm at some point. And they also mentioned Toni Storm too. Toni Storm was voted #1 by the PW Insider. Best woman wrestler on the planet. Good for her. That was a hell of a gimmick she had anyway, too. It was great. We'll see what happens though when Toni Storm gets back. Whatever that may be. All right. Other news on this part too. We had Chris Jericho versus Mark Briscoe announced for next week for a ladder match. Now, how this occurred is they talked about how Briscoe beat Jericho at Wrestle Dream. They asked Jericho in an interview after the match was over, how do you feel? He goes, I'm vindicated. I'm going to get I want a new match. I'm going to become the two-time Ring of Honor champion, like Jay Briscoe. They cut right to Mark. Mark was just not happy. He goes, Chris says a lot of dumb things. And he's right. Chris does say a lot of dumb things, a lot of dumb stuff. 100% he does. A ton of dumb things. But he let all that slide. I don't blame him. Say, Chris does say a lot of dumb things. So Mark goes, but I'm not going to let it slide that I told you, keep my brother's name out your mouth. So because of this, you'll get your match. But it's got to be a little more violent. So I want to do a lot of bad things to you. Everybody wants to do bad things to Chris Jericho. I can understand why. 100%. So you have a ladder match. I don't know if this is where Chris is going to win the title. It's next week on Dynamite. Probably not. But we'll see what happens. Also, we got the FTR versus the Learning Tree. Now, right after that happened there, where Briscoe said yes to the challenge from Chris Jericho, FTR showed up. He says, looking forward to seeing FTR, his friends, beat up the Learning Tree. They beat up the Learning Tree. They won. With the Shadow Machine. Decent match for what it was. They're always going to win. But at the end of the match, I know FTR's kind of a throwback to like the 70s. Kind of like the 70s wrestling style, mid 80s. It was part of the 80s wrestling too that I could never understand too. And I could never, I didn't like it either. The Outrunners come out. They were just all that tie-dye and all that nonsense. You just know eventually the Outrunners or FTR are going to turn on each other. Well, they're just going to turn on each other in general. Just not a fan of these Outrunners guys. Just not a fan. If you think I'm an idiot for this, please comment down below. Make sure you like down below too and subscribe to it. I'm just not a fan of the Outrunners. Just can't get behind it. To be honest, I like the 80s stuff. The Killer Bees are cool. Strike Force is pretty decent. British Bulldogs. Could never stand that surfing stuff though. Probably why I like the surf and sting so much. Or that stupid other gimmick that some other guys had. That involved surfing. I wasn't even a big fan of the Rockers either. Just couldn't, never a fan of the Rockers either. They were okay. It's never really a fan, though. Meh. Can't like them all. We also have having a Mercedes Moné versus Queen Amanada last night. Camille did get involved a little bit more too, which is good because she's a heavy. She's supposed to be one of those guards, almost like a China, right? He got involved in the match a little bit, but not get people disqualified. Did that. It was good. It was good. She did that. Oh, Monet ended up winning. Not surprised here. There wasn't much else that went on in that too. Like Mercedes Monet kind of just walked off. It was fine. Like I just hold Mercedes Monet. I say it almost every Dynamite was better as Sasha Banks. It's almost like some things are definitely better when they're filtered through somebody first before you give the okay to. This is one of those things. Mercedes Moné is a very, very good wrestler. Very good. That's not the part that bothers me. It's the way she's presented. I just doesn't click. Sasha Banks was way she was presented was very much of a star, whereas this almost feels forced. If that makes sense to anybody. But we'll see what happens there. Eventually, she's going to probably lose that belt anyway. Who, I don't know anymore. I still think it's going to be Camille at some point down the line, which would make the most sense. But they did nothing else too either from the whole, like, last week with Chris Statlander. So I don't get it. Like, too much start-stop in this company right now. Like, there's a lot of good things going on. Like, Adam Cole coming back is a great thing. Possibly have Kenny Omega coming back is a good thing. The stuff with the BCC, John Moxley, Pac, Claudio, now Wheeler, Marina Shafir, that stuff is great. Then you have that garbage with Mercedes Moné. Makes no sense to me. And I love the stuff with Mariah May. I love the stuff, even with Chris Statlander when she's there. I love the stuff with Britt Baker. I love the stuff with Hikaru Shida. Even Willow I like. It's a little annoying. But I like that stuff there. I just don't like the Mercedes Moné character there. Should be filtered better. And it's like I said, start-stop stuff makes no sense to me. But we'll see. Anyway, folks, that was AEW Dynamite in a nutshell. Like I said, next week, 2 weeks from now, will we get the debut of Bobby Lashley? Will we see Bobby Lashley? What was going? How's that reaction going to be? Right? When will that Cole match? Will that match between Adam Cole and MJF happen in Full Gear? Well, Hangman and Jay White have a nice conversation next week about what the hell's going on. Because Hangman, I like this new version of Hangman. It's great. Makes me laugh. Especially like tonight. It was hilarious. Like, this doesn't want to get caught. He's like a psychopath, but he's not a psychopath at all. He's just a nut bar. We'll see what happens. Anyway, folks, make sure you like, subscribe down below. Right? Check out this video right over here. Make sure you follow me. Remember, I am Andrew Purcell. I am Andrew. Doug is not usually with me here, but he usually is here. Right? We do also have, right? Make sure you follow us there on Twitter. We're on TikTok at DA Sports, on Twitter on DA Wrestling or DA Sports Pod. One or the other. Right? D Lions 1991. AM Purcell 882 on Twitter as well. YouTube, obviously, DA Wrestling. Thank you very much. Have yourself a good night. I'm out.